Hello, let's role play. We are the sea navigator on the LNG carrier. We're in the middle of the changing the watch while navigating through the busy fishing areas in the South China Sea under the heavy weather. I am outgoing officer and you are incoming officer. Please inquire about everything you need to be aware of. Then you ask for further details based on my response. Let's begin.
What is our current heading?
Our heading set 230 degrees.
Understood. Our heading is 330 degrees. Is this aligned with our intended course, or is there any deviation we should note?
There's no deviation. Your settings right, and your course is referred to our MPP. There's a 230 course, and your settings right.
You mentioned our heading is 330 degrees, but also said our course, according to the master passage plan, is 230 degrees. Could you help clarify this difference for me?
There's no difference heading and course. There's no leeway.
I understand now. So there's no discrepancy between our heading and our course. Both are correctly aligned without any leeway. What's our current speed?
We at the 18 knots. Our I guess expecting speed 20 knots, but you're just 18 knots because of heavy weather. The wind is blow from our ahead side, so the wind make our speed going down.
Thank you for the update. We're currently making 18 knots, which is below our expected speed of 20 knots due to heavy weather, with the wind coming from ahead, slowing us down. Given these conditions, are we making any adjustments to our navigation or engine settings to try and counteract the impact of the headwinds and maintain our schedule?
Engine is full ahead, navigation full, not maneuvering, and the RPM is 86. Master think there's no change to our speed. We are gonna maintain our speed for 5 days.
All right, the engine is set to full ahead with navigation fully operational, not in a maneuvering state, and the RPM is set to 86. The master has decided against making changes, anticipating that our current speed will be maintained for the next 5 days despite the headwinds. Given this, how are our fuel reserves, considering we're running full ahead under these conditions for an extended period?
You mean how many fuels is gonna use?
Yes, exactly. Given we're maintaining full engine power for the next 5 days due to the heavy weather, how does this affect our fuel consumption and reserves?
Refer to today's noon report. We've used 20 tons LSMGO, so I'm expecting we're gonna use 100 tons of LSMGO, but we have enough LSMGO, so we don't need to supply more fuels after port.
Understood. Based on today's noon report, we've used 20 tons of SMGO and are anticipating a total consumption of 100 tons of SMGO over the next 5 days. You've indicated we have sufficient reserves of SMGO, ensuring that we won't need to resupply fuel in the immediate future. With our fuel situation stable, can you tell me about the current weather conditions and their expected impact on our navigation for the coming days?
As you know, the emails I received the email. There's some typhoon on our coast, so we are navigating through the low pressure areas with the skulls around us, and maybe it could be the lightning. So we have to careful for the skulls or the lightnings. Although the low pressure, there's no. We're constantly navigating through the heavy weather and heavy wind. People scale about 7. So in future, there's a there's gonna more heavy weather. We are expecting more heavy weather. So we have to tighten our features or things, stuffs to move. And then I guess that we're LNG carrier, so LNG is gonna be slamming our tank, and then the tank pressure is gonna be high. You have to keep eye on the IAS and see the tank pressures. If the tank pressure is gonna reaches to 20 kilopascal, it might be the alarms going on. But you have to notify to chief officer before it reaches to 20 kilopascal and ringing the alarm.
I understand we're navigating through a challenging weather scenario due to a typhoon in our vicinity, which involves navigating through low pressure areas. This situation is causing strong winds, roughly equivalent to a force 7 on the Beaufort scale, and there's a potential for gas calls or lightning strikes, so we need to be especially cautious. It's important for us to secure any loose items on deck to prevent movement due to the heavy seas. Given we're on an LNG carrier, the agitation of the cargo due to the rough seas could lead to increased tank pressure. I'll be sure to closely monitor the IAS and keep an eye on the tank pressures. If the pressure approaches 20 kilopascals, I understand it's critical to notify the chief officer before any alarms are triggered to manage the situation proactively. Is there any specific procedure or precaution we should follow regarding the cargo tanks beyond monitoring the pressure, especially considering the expected worsening weather?
Yes, we use GCU, gas consumption unit for used gas to burning gas and to decrease the tank pressure. If the tank pressure is gonna high, the chief officer and first engineer does no reset, that's just the settings of GCU to use more gas to decrease the tank pressure. So your mission is notify to chief officer.
Got it? We use the gas combustion unit, GCU, to burn off excess gas, thereby reducing the tank pressure when it rises too high. If the tank pressure increases, it's the responsibility of the chief officer and the first engineer to adjust the settings of the GCU to increase gas consumption and manage the pressure. My role is to closely monitor the situation and promptly notify the chief officer if the pressure approaches critical levels to ensure timely adjustments can be made. I'll keep a close eye on the tank pressure and ensure communication lines are open with the chief officer for any necessary adjustments. Is there anything else related to the current situation or equipment that I need to be aware of or monitor closely during my watch?
As I mentioned, the lightning is gonna be happen, so could be happen. So if the lightning it happens, you should shut down every navigational and GMDSS equipment which has the antenna. If lightning crush on the antenna, the navigational and GMDSS equipment is gonna be break down. So you have to know that. And after you shut down equipment, you have to notify to masters your intention. Yeah.
Understood. In the event of lightning, I should shut down all navigational and gender-sensitive equipment that has antennas to prevent damage from lightning strikes. After shutting down the equipment, it's crucial to inform the master of my actions. This precaution helps protect our equipment from potential breakdowns due to lightning impacts. I'll make sure to keep this procedure in mind and act promptly if lightning is observed, ensuring the safety of our navigational and communication systems. Is there any specific protocol for restarting the equipment after the threat has passed? Or should I wait for further instructions from the master or the chief officer?
Yeah. As you know, every navigational equipment and GMDSS equipment have a main power and sub power. Main power is flows from the main generator, and the sub power flows from the batteries, DC batteries. So the main power is through the batteries, and then is approached to the main equipment. So you have to shut down first AC, main power, and then you shut down DC. If you shut down DC first, then I guess it's gonna be not good for equipment. So
Got it. When shutting down the navigational and gender-sensitive equipment due to lightning, I need to follow the correct sequence to avoid damaging the equipment. First, shut down the AC main power, which flows from the main generator, and then shut down the DC sub-power, which is supplied by the batteries. This sequence ensures that the equipment is safely powered down without causing any harm. I'll remember to shut down the AC power first and then the DC power in case of lightning. This careful approach protects our equipment and ensures we can quickly get back to full operational status once the risk has passed. Thank you for the detailed instructions. Is there anything else that needs to be covered during our handover?
yes, I guess the fishing boat is crazy. Under this heavy weather, there's still working on. So after 10 miles at the waypoint, I guess there's so many fishing fleets around the waypoint. So you have to careful about that. My master write down the bridge order book about you should maintain CPA of at least 5 cables. If that is not gonna be happen, you have to call your master. Yeah, so you have to know that.
Thank you for the heads up about the fishing boats operating near our waypoint despite the heavy weather. It's crucial to be aware of such hazards, especially under challenging conditions. I'll ensure to maintain a closest point of approach, CPA, of at least 5 cables from the fishing fleets as instructed by the master and noted in the bridge order book. If maintaining this CPA proves challenging, I'll promptly contact the master for guidance. Navigating carefully around these fleets is essential to ensure the safety of both our vessel and the fishing boats. I'll keep a vigilant watch for them as we approach the waypoint and adjust our course and speed as necessary to comply with the master's orders. Is there any particular maneuvering strategy or additional precaution I should consider when navigating through these fishing areas?
There's no specific instruction for you. Just I mentioned one thing I have to tell you. For using the radar, there's a 3 set of radar: rain clutter and sea clutter, and again. I advise you to reset that settings before you start your watch, because of the weather is every time weather is changing, and sea conditions or anything, everything is changing. So likewise, the accurate settings to radar is gonna be changed. So you have to reset the settings, 3 settings, and adjust to the right condition at that moment.
I appreciate the advice on the radar settings. I'll make sure to reset and adjust the rain clutter, sea clutter, and gain settings on the radar at the start of my watch, taking into account the current weather and sea conditions, understanding that these conditions are constantly changing, especially under the heavy weather we're experiencing. It's vital to ensure the radar settings are optimized for the most accurate readings. Adjusting these settings will help in detecting and navigating around the fishing fleets and any other potential hazards effectively. I'll keep a close eye on the radar and make any necessary adjustments as conditions evolve. Thank you for highlighting this. It's an important reminder to stay adaptable and attentive to the tools at our disposal for safe navigation. If there's nothing else, I believe that covers everything for a smooth handover.
Yes, yes, I think the handover is over, but just one. It's the last one. I make some soup, and over there the seat on the table. If you're hungry, you can eat that.
That's very thoughtful of you. Thank you. I'll definitely check out the soup if I get hungry during my watch. It sounds like a nice way to keep warm and energized given the heavy weather we're dealing with. Thanks for the comprehensive handover and for taking care of the crew's well-being with such gestures. If there's anything else that comes up, or if you have any last-minute advice, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I'll take it from here and ensure everything continues smoothly.
I guess this is we're finishing role play. Just one. Please correct and give me a feedback about my word from the start to this. You could make a list, and first is original, and then revised sentences. And I want to make it more smooth.
Let's refine your request for more comprehensive sentences, ensuring clarity and grammatical accuracy. Here are expanded and smoothed out versions of the original sentences, combining related thoughts for more cohesive communication. 1. Original. We are at 18 knots, I guess expecting speed 20 knots. But we are just at 18 knots because of heavy weather. The wind is blowing from our head side, so the wind makes our speed go down. Revised, we're currently traveling at 18 knots, below our expected speed of 20 knots, due to heavy headwinds that are slowing us down. 2. Original. Engine is full ahead. Navigation full, not maneuvering. The RPM is 86. RPM set to 86. Master said there's no change. Master think there's a no change to our speed. Revised. The engine is set to full ahead with the RPM fixed at 86, and we are not in a maneuvering state. The master has decided against any changes, expecting to maintain our current speed without adjustments. Original. As you know, the emails I received the email, there's some typhoon on our coasts. So we're navigating through the low pressure area. Sums. So with this cause runaround, use and maybe it could be the lightnings. So where we have to careful for the gas coals, so are the lightnings, but now it all thought the low pressure there's known. I don't know, known. So where we're constantly navigating through the heavy weather and heavy wind, like 7 people killed about 7. So we have to in future, there's gonna more heavier. Is it we're expecting? More heaviers. So have to tighten our features, so things stuffs to don't the move him. And then I guess that we're energy carriers. Oh, energy is gonna be slamming our tank. And then the tank pressure is gonna be high. So you have to keep eye on the IAS and see the tank pressures. If the tank pressure is gonna reach us to 20 kilopascal, it might be the alarms going on. But you have to notify the chief officer before it reaches to 20 kilopascal and ring in the alarm. Revised. As mentioned in the emails, there's a typhoon near our coast, leading us to navigate through low-pressure areas. This weather brings the risk of lightning, requiring us to be vigilant about potential gas calls. Given the heavy weather and strong winds, we expect conditions to worsen, necessitating the securement of all deck items. As an LNG carrier, the rough seas could increase tank pressure, so it's imperative to monitor the IAS and tank pressures closely. Should the pressure approach 20 kilopascals, it's crucial to alert the chief officer before any alarms are triggered. 4. Original. Yeah, as you know, every navigational equipment and geometry-assisted equipment have a main power and sub-power. Main power flows from the main generator and sub-power flows from the batteries, DC batteries. So the main power is through the batteries and then is approached to the main equipment. So you have to shut down first AC, main power, and then you shut down DC. If you shut down DC first, I guess it's going to be not good for equipment. So yeah, you must shut down first the main power and then DC power, sub-power. Revised. As you're aware, all our navigational and sensitive equipment are supplied with both main and backup power. Main power is sourced from the generator, and backup power comes from DC batteries. In case of an emergency, it's important to first cut the AC main power and then the DC backup power. Shutting down in this sequence prevents potential damage to the equipment. Original. There is no specific instruction for you. Just I mentioned one thing I have to tell you. For using the radar, there are 3 sets of radar: rain clutter, sea clutter, and gain. I advise you to reset the settings before you start your watch because of the weather. Every time weather is changing and sea conditions or anything, everything is changing. So the accurate settings is every time. Likewise, the accurate settings to radar is going to change. So you have to reset the settings, 3 settings, and adjust to the right condition at that moment. Revised. While there's no specific instruction, I want to emphasize the importance of adjusting the radar settings, rain clutter, sea clutter, and gain, at the start of your watch. Weather and sea conditions are constantly changing, necessitating adjustments to these settings for accurate radar readings. Ensure you reset and tailor these settings to match the current conditions. These revised sentences aim to provide a clearer, more detailed explanation, improving the flow and understanding of.
Thank you.
You're welcome.